You're on.
I'm always on. Hi, and welcome back to your yoga class. Today, we're going to do a restorative yoga class to help kind of relieve a little bit of, let's say, lower back pain or discomfort. And I'm also going to keep this very homey, so I'm going to try to use just normal things that are around your house. I'm going to be using some pillows that just came from my couch. I imagine most of us have that at home. And I'm going to actually be using our couch. We won't even be using a mat today. We're just going to kind of just chill out and just have some fun. So we're going to get started today in a tabletop variation. And let's go do some cat-cows to warm up the spine. I'm going to be using a blanket here. Any blanket will work. You can also use a towel, really anything to help give a little extra support for your knees. And let's just come to a tabletop pose. And then from here, let's just inhale, lift the head up and the tail up. And think about the lower back. Almost a little bit of a hammocking sensation, but think more of the chest also dropping. And then as you exhale, first just send your tailbone down and then roll through the spine just gently and letting the head hang heavy. And it doesn't have to be really big motion. Just as you inhale, just take it into any shape of the back bend or any depth. And then as you exhale, just a little bit of round, a little bit of push, letting the head hang heavy, and noticing how your spine is moving today. As you inhale, lift the head up and the tail up. And then as you exhale, round. Let's do this just a few more rounds. Now you can, again, feel free to take it as deep as you feel comfortable. And then remember that this little section here is just an opportunity for you to check in with how your spine is moving today. And your hips. Let's do two more. Inhale. And exhale. And repeat, inhale. And exhale. Very nice. Now, I'm going to grab one of my lovely little decorative pillows, and I'm going to place it right on top. And we're going to move into a puppy pose. Sometimes they call it a quarter dog. Really just anything you want to call it is fine. We're going to extend our hands towards the front, and we're just going to lay our head right on the pillow. And if you need a little bit more height, feel free to use two pillows. Or if you have blocks, because you have blocks at home, you can use a block as well. What we're trying to do is make this practice luxurious. It's a restorative. Yeah, nothing terribly too active. We're just resting here. And I'm going to let you sit in silence for a few rounds of breath. One of my favorite things to do when I'm in a restorative pose is honestly to count my breath. I like to just count up to 5, and then as I exhale, I also count down to 5. What that does is help reduce any noise that may be coming in from our mind. As you know, our mind is always super busy. And honestly, I think it's the mind's job to create thoughts. And in order to reduce those thoughts, we have to give the mind a job. And the job I give it to is just simply to count to 5 as I inhale. And then as I exhale, I count back those same 5. Let's take 2 more breaths. One more breath. And let's slowly walk our hands back. And let's just arrive in a little seat. Relax the shoulders, roll the shoulders up and down. Try to stack your ears and let them move back so they're in line with the shoulders. 1 full breath in. And exhale. Now we're going to move into a closed knees, child's pose. So you're just going to bring yourself back. And I'm going to use the same pillow. Bringing it just a little bit closer. And I'm just going to let my arms just go behind me. And notice how there's this just very gentle rounding in the spine. Now, if you also need a little bit extra, or the knee flexion here is pretty extreme, feel free to slide a blanket in between your knees. And then allow yourself to come back to a child's pose. We're going to be here for a few rounds of breath. One more full breath in. And exhale. Very nice. Use your hands to slowly lift yourself up. And let's go ahead and move the pillow aside, and let's get off of our blanket, and let's also set that aside. And let's just lay onto our belly, and we're going to arrive in a Sphinx pose. Now in the Sphinx pose, let's move our elbow a little bit in front of our shoulder. So what that does is that decreases how deep the back bend is. And then again here, you can just let the head just look down toward your eyes, look down towards your thumb, or if you'd like to increase the flexion in your neck, you can look straight forward. Close your eyes. Now I know sometimes when we're doing yoga at home, our mind wanders more. And especially when you're in front of a computer screen or a phone. So when that starts to happen, just again, come back to the breath. Think of the counting. One more breath here. Now, if this is pretty extreme for you already, stay here. If you're looking for a little bit more, we're going to move into a seal pose, meaning we're just going to straighten out our arms. Now you can walk your hands a little bit closer, but what we're trying to avoid is any, we're trying to avoid any compression in our lower back. And we want to make sure that our lower back does not feel any stimulation, again, because this class is designed to reduce lower back discomfort. What we are doing here, though, is we're stretching our psoas tract. So try to send your tailbone towards your heels and feel the stretch on the front side of the body. Again, if you come up here and it moves the sensation into your lower back, simply just bend your elbows again and then slide your tailbone towards the back. And if this is again too much and it doesn't feel very restorative to you, you can bring your forehead down. You can even think about bringing your hands to your lower back and physically taking your tailbone and moving it away from your lower back to create a little bit more space. That in return will start to slowly, very gently open up your psoas tract. But of course, if you can, stay in Sphinx pose for a little bit longer. And if you can, stay in seal pose for just a little bit longer. Now, the closer your arms are to your body, the more intense the stretch is going to get. The further your hands are from your body, meaning you're reaching them overhead, that decreases the back bend. So it will be less intense to more intense the closer you walk your hands in. That's also a way for you to manage, I would say, any sort of discomfort in your lower back. One more full breath in. And let's come back to Sphinx pose if you were in seal pose. And then very slowly, let's just relax. Let's just go ahead and take your left ear to the mat, or to, no mat today, down to the carpet or whatever surface you have. And then take your left hand back towards your feet, and your right hand is cactus. Now you may actually be on a mat. Today though, I'm choosing to lay on my carpet because, fun fact, I really like my carpet. I love the way it feels. It feels a little bit, it's softer than my yoga mat. There's a little bit more give, and it feels a little bit more luxurious to me. And let's just switch to the other side. You take your right hand towards the back. Just let it relax. Right ear to the mat. And then cactus, your left shoulder and arm. Now really think about on all these exhales, lengthening your tailbone, or on your inhales and exhales, really just creating more space in the lower back. One more full breath in. And exhale. Nothing fancy here. All we're doing is we're going to turn around. We're going to lay on our back. Now again, if you have anything like a ponytail in your hair, I'm going to recommend that you, again, remove it so your head is all the way on your mat. Now from here, have your either strap, if you have a strap. I'm using a scarf that also doubles as a blanket because, you know, who doesn't love scarves that turn into blankets? And let's have our knees bent. And let's bring our right knee into our chest. Give it a nice big squeeze. Go ahead and keep the left knee bent here. Just start to breathe in. Just put a little bit of movement side to side. Go ahead and take your prop and let's wrap your foot around it. Yeah. Now, if you're curious on why I chose these poses to help reduce any lower back discomfort, go ahead and check the notes down on the description of the video. I've added a little description of the pose and why we're doing the pose so you can better understand why I chose these poses. Right now we're just lengthening the hamstring out. Doesn't have to be aggressive. Now this is a pretty a big range of motion. You know, most people don't have this much range of motion, and so if your hamstring stretch looks like this, I just want to let you know that I was there at some point in time as well, and this is quite normal. I have my left knee bent because it's a little bit more forgiving. It's not as stimulating, but if it feels good to you, you can extend your left leg towards the front of the room, but this does bring a little bit more sensation into your lower back. So again, if we're trying to reduce lower back sensation, I would keep the knee bent. Continue to breathe. Now from here, we're going to move out into the IT band on the right side, but first we're going to let our left knee fall inward. And then we're going to let our right knee fall to the left side, not the knee, the foot. So it's basically like you're setting up to do eagle pose. So what the left knee is doing is creating a counterbalance. So you can feel the stretch a little bit more around the right IT band. Now if you want to, you can take your palm and just kind of slightly relax, massage. And now I'm going to let you just sit in silence because I'm talking too much for a restorative class. Just breathe. Now, from here, we're going to slowly, you can actually just let go of the strap and just cross your knee on top like you're heading in towards eagle pose. I'm going to grab my pillow and I'm going to set it right onto the left side. And then I'm just going to let my left knee, it's not an eagle leg twist, I'm just going to lift my hips up, send them to the right, and then let the right knee rest on the pillow. Now, if you need more height than the pillow is providing, you can take it up and then create a more, just a slightly higher support for the knee. You can run it so it feels like the whole shin has support. Maybe slide it down so it even feels like the ankle is supported. Now, my lower leg, in this case my left, is bent so it looks like a pinwheel. And I'm just letting my right shoulder relax. This again might be too much. If it is, just lift the knee up a little bit more. You could extend your left leg towards, or just extend it so it's long. You can keep it bent. And then just drop down to your breath. One more full breath in. And slowly release. Go ahead and bring your knee back into your chest. Grab your pillow, set it up for the other side. Grab your strap or whichever prop you chose to use today. Bend both knees. Set up like you're gonna do bridge pose, but we're just setting up. Put your hands on your belly. And notice how one side of the body feels different than the other side. Let's bring our left knee into our chest, give it a big squeeze. Notice how when you bring your knee into your chest, your lower back flattens out. Nothing right or wrong about that, just observe. The closer you bring your knee in towards your chest, the more the tailbone does the tucking motion and then draws your lower back down to the mat. Just be aware of that. Take your strap, your prop, and let's strap up the left leg. And with your strap, notice if you like the strap closer to the ball of the foot, the heel. Find your preferences. Sometimes what feels really good is taking one of my hands, placing it to the top of the thigh without rotation. Just push it straight forward. And when you push the base of your thigh bone forward, if you press hard enough, you'll notice that you actually put a tiny little lift into your lower back. It brings back the natural curvature. I think that feels really good on my body. I actually don't think it feels really good. I know it feels pretty good on my body. But we're all different bodies, so it may not feel good for you, but give it a try. Breathing in and out. Let your knees move in towards the center line and let your right foot cross over to the left foot cross over to the right side. This moves the work into the IT band. The IT band connects all the way at the top of the ilium towards the outside. Take 2 more breaths here. Now, ideally, you'd like to hold these poses for about 3 to 5 minutes. We're not going to hold them all that long because this is, of course, just a short, sweet, little 30-minute revival of of our body. So with that being said, let's release the strap. Let's move our right foot closer to the left side, pick up our hip, and then just allow yourself to move into your twist. Again, make sure you set up your pillow the same way you did on the other side, or as close to the other side as possible, as it creates balance in the body. You can cactus your left shoulder and arm. I like to place my right hand on top of my left thigh, just to add a little support. And let's just drop down to our breathing. One more full cycle. Inhale. One more full breath in. And exhale. Slowly bring your knee back into your chest. Bend the knees, let the knees knock in towards each other. Heel toe the feet out just a little bit, so a constructive rest pose. Now if you practice with me, you know I love this pose. We start off class almost every single day in this pose. Now the reason that is because when the knees move in towards each other, the rule of the long bone means that the head of the femur moves away. So that starts to do is broaden your lower back, and it just feels so relaxing. Breathing in and out. We're down to our last two poses. In restorative pose, restorative yoga, I believe they call this banana asana, because it's an awesome asana. So here, go ahead and extend your feet nice and long. And then we're going to take our foot and move it over towards the left side, the left foot to the left side. Take our right foot and put it right on top. So what this starts to do is move into a side body stretch. And now you could just hang out here a little bit, and this is totally fine. You want to add on just a little bit more. Take your left hand and move it towards the left side. Then take your right hand and move it over as well. So now we have a full side body stretch. And what this is doing is getting a little bit into your TFL, but it's also, more importantly, getting into your QL. I like to grab my right wrist and slightly pull it a little bit. Give us a little bit of traction. Now, in this side body stretch, instead of thinking less local, meaning specifically into the low back and side body, see if you can make it more global. So you feel the stretch from your ankle to the side IT band, to the TFL, the QL, the side body, all the way up into the armpit, moving all the way over to your wrists. And then include your pinky. It's part of your body. Let's take 2 more breaths. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath. Exhale. Let's go to the other side. Let's do our feet first. Take your right foot, move it over to the right side. Take your left leg, place it right on top. Then move our upper body. With your right hand, grab your left wrist. Now, you'll notice that tendency is to lift our low ribs. What would happen if you were to draw your low ribs down and then your tailbone away from it, and then continue to feel the whole global stretch of the side body? One more inhale. And exhale slowly, bring the upper body up. Bring the legs in. Now for our final resting pose, instead of heading in towards Shavasana, we're going to use our couch. If you don't have a couch, you can use a chair, you can use anything to help elevate the legs. Now, you don't got any of that stuff, that's totally cool. I love minimalism as well. And if you only have a floor and a pillow, you can just put your pillow underneath your knees. What this is going to do is bend the knees, drop the head of the thighs, the head of the femurs down, and it helps relax the lower back. Those are all the options, but I'm going to literally just crawl myself over. And now I'm just going to place my thighs, not my thighs, because I'm a yoga instructor, I should know my body parts, my calves, on my knee, on my knees, on my couch. This is what restorative yoga does to you. You just forget everything. You're just gonna elevate your feet, place it on something you can rest. I like to press my heels into the couch, relax my lower back, give it a little wiggle. Stretch the back of the neck out a little bit. And then just fall deep into your resting final pose. We got about a minute here today, but if you can hang out here for like 5 to 10 minutes, just let it be. When you are ready to get out of this pose, just going to bend one knee, bend your other knee. Take one hand back and then just roll yourself over. Using your hand, help rise up to a seat. Now, if you do have some lower back discomfort, maybe sleeping is really hard for you, what I would recommend is sleeping with a pillow in between your knees and sleeping on your side. When you do that, it helps reduce some sensation in your lower back. If you do like to sleep on your back and with your feet extended, put a pillow underneath your knees. don't worry. The props don't ever actually stay there the whole night. We do move around, but setting yourself up for success will help you sleep a little bit better as well. I just want to say thank you for practicing with me. Thank you for this last few weeks and continue to practice with me. If you have any questions, as always, please leave a comment. Send me a message on my Instagram, which is Elvis Garcia Yoga. And if you have any questions, please let me know. It's been a pleasure. Namaste.